Hi, I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy. And today I'm going to talk about just a really good thing to know, and that's how to have a good day, even when you're not having a good day. When we had a crappy childhood, it's kind of easy to wake up sometimes in what Pete Walker calls an emotional flashback. It can just be a bad mood or just feeling out of sorts, or even to the point that you don't feel like coordinated in your hands. And you know what? We get depressed sometimes. So here are just some simple things to do to turn your day around and start making it a little better. The first thing to do is to get up an hour earlier than you normally would. This is a great way to reduce the stress that we often have in the morning of hurrying to try to get out of the house wherever we're going, or the total immobilization when we don't have plans for the day of just kind of lingering in bed. So get up an hour earlier, then get up out of bed. Yeah, you're going to be tired. You're going to be tired at first, but it's okay. It's not an emergency. Get some coffee if you need to, and then get on to the second thing, which is to take a personal inventory. And there's a whole video where I show you how to do this, but it's all about sitting down with a pen and paper and just beginning to write down what the fears and resentments are that you have right now. The fears and resentments are basically the hamster wheel. And if you have childhood PTSD, it may be something that starts going pretty fast as soon as you wake up, and it may be troubling your sleep, and it can really distort your thinking. So that's what I do is the first thing every morning is sit down with my coffee, and I get my fears and resentments on paper. And they are so boring and repetitive, and it doesn't matter. By writing them down and then writing a little wish that they be removed, I can get on with my day and start having just emotional freedom and mental clarity that I need to start having a better day than I did yesterday. The third thing is to meditate. I meditate for 20 minutes twice a day. If you can even do 5 minutes, it makes a huge difference. So you write the inventory, you follow it with meditation. And by meditation, I don't necessarily mean anything difficult. You don't have to sit a special way. You don't have to have an empty mind. A lot of people I hear, they beat themselves up and say, "Oh, I can't really meditate. My mind is too active." That's right. That's why we meditate, is because we have an active mind, and you don't have to have that completely fixed so that you can begin to meditate. Also, writing the inventory and getting the fears and resentments on paper will definitely reduce all the mental chatter that you have that's making meditation difficult. It's great if you can get trained to meditate, but if you are not trained, it's honestly so simple. You just close your eyes sitting in a comfortable position, and you can give yourself a mantra, a little word that doesn't mean very much. You can make one up, or you can use words like this or release or any word you want to just put your focus on something and stop trying to resolve problems and work things out. Now my meditations are horrible. Sometimes I'm thinking so much that I forget that I'm meditating, and I get up and I start doing something. But you know what? The results are the same. I still benefit from meditation even when I think the whole time. I just put in the time to do it. The fourth thing for having a better day is to go outside and exercise hard. Now, there was a time when I had acute PTSD. If you've read in the blog, there was a time when I found somebody dead. I tried to give them CPR. I was stuck in PTSD and just like reliving it emotionally for like a year and a half. It was terrible. And when the doctor said, "Oh, we're going to have to start putting you on some hardcore medications," I didn't want to do that. And so I just went online. I'm like, what does a person do if they are in this kind of overload, emotional overload all the time? And it just said, like, go exercise hard. And it was so effective. I just can't even believe everybody isn't, that you don't always get told to do this. So exercising hard means it can be different depending on, what you're used to doing. But you want to get your heart rate up for at least 20 minutes. And in fact, if you can take a brisk walk for an hour, that's a good thing to do when you're in the middle of a life crisis, let me tell you. But on a regular basis, if you can just go get some brisk walking done for 20 minutes, if you already are a runner, then you are, I don't even need to tell you this. You're going to feel a lot better when you go have a run. There's no need to do anything that is physically dangerous for you. It's just to get that movement going. And the reason I say outside is outside where the sun is on us, or even if it's bad weather, our brains like to know what day it is. Our brains like to know what season it is, and it helps us kind of get calibrated and feel just like normal in our bodies and being able to sleep normally and feel hungry at the right time. And it really helps depression to just go out there and get the natural daylight going. Also, if you're going to walk or run, it can be really nice to do it instead of on a treadmill, but to do it on a natural surface, like up and down on the curbs, on the sidewalk, on a dirt road where there's slight unevenness. Like our brains like that. Our brains like to sit there and figure that out. So much of what's going on with childhood PTSD, especially when we're struggling in our mood or just like having our head together, it is like we don't have our head together. There's a dysregulation going on in the brain. And so this is all about getting your brain regulated again so that you can get unstuck and start moving forward with constructive actions. So that's one of the things I've found helpful is the hard exercise. Also, I really like classes like kickboxing or Zumba or something where an instructor is calling stuff out like to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left. Anything where we're hearing and responding with our bodies to the left and right cues accelerates your recalibration and the re-regulation of your brain and brings you out of that like dissociated PTSD state. Number 6 is have some coffee. Caffeine is a pick-me-up. You don't want to have too much, obviously, but more and more the research seems to show that it is okay to have some coffee. And if you're feeling low, it's a great way to just kind of pick up your energy. Personally, I stopped drinking coffee at 3 in the afternoon because after that it'll start to keep me up at night. I love coffee. I'm addicted to it. I'm not worried about it. If I don't drink it, I get a headache. But again, I don't worry about it. Number 7 is to eat some protein with every meal. I'm going to talk about weight loss and childhood PTSD pretty soon. I had a really significant weight loss, and I'm going to show you how to do it too. But overeating and obesity are very strongly connected to childhood PTSD. A lot of breakfast foods like, toast, donuts, cereal, that kind of thing, it's pure carbs. And carbs will kind of take your energy and lift them up, and then they'll make you tired. And anything that's making your endocrine system spike and go down, up, down, it tends to be a little triggering for the PTSD too. So a little quick piece of advice is make sure you're eating protein with your meals, even if you're eating it with carbs. So you might have some eggs on toast, and it just helps to keep it a little more balanced and less triggering for the childhood PTSD. And it's just good for you, eating protein. Then with childhood PTSD, it's really easy to start the day with a sense of overwhelm. A sense of overwhelm is a pretty familiar old friend for a lot of us. And so to start breaking that down and to start experiencing the happiness of doing something useful every day, it's good to make a list. And so every morning I sit down and I make a list of things the most important things I'd like to get done that day. Now I know that there's a lot of stuff on my list that I'm not going to get to, but I go ahead and I list them. Then I try to zero in on what are the 3 most important things for me to get done that day. Now those might be things I can get done today or not. So then I go in and I look at the one most important thing that I get done today, and I make that the top priority. And sometimes when I'm choosing what's going to be the first thing I do, I take the one that's hardest. I just get the hardest thing out of the way so that I can eliminate the sense of dread that comes with having a hard thing ahead of me during the day. Maybe it's a phone call I'm not looking forward to making because it's embarrassing or I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. Number 9, this one's kind of special, but if you just want to get your spirits up, fight the urge to talk about anything negative. Now, we've been conditioned, if we're feeling bad about something, to talk to as many people as possible, especially if you're a woman. And people go, hey, how you doing? It's like, oh gosh, this thing's going on and it's so hard. If you want to change your mood, I just encourage you to experiment with, don't talk about it. Don't talk about the thing that's bothering you. Keep your focus on where you're trying to go, on the stuff that's positive for you. Now, I don't mean categorically never talk about what's bothering you, but sometimes it's purposeful to talk to somebody about something that's bothering you. So, of course, you should do that. But just generally try experimenting with not talking about the thing that's bothering you, and you will be surprised how easy it is to have your mood start going in a completely new direction when you're not constantly reminding yourself how upset you are about something. Number 10, here's a question to ask yourself. What am I avoiding? And a lot of times a depressed mood for me is really just a sense of dread about something I'm avoiding. And it could be something like I'm avoiding learning about something that I know that I need to know about. I'm avoiding a person that I really ought to be paying attention to. I'm avoiding a task that I need to do, and it's bothering me. It's kind of ruining all my free time, thinking I ought to be doing it and I'm not doing it. So I write, what am I avoiding? And I get that, and then take that back into the to-do list for the day. And finally, this is like the cherry on the sundae. If you really want to have a good day, find something kind you can do for somebody where they won't find out who did it for them, or you're not going to get any credit. The reason I say that is because if there's any chance that we're going to be thought of as a great person, sometimes it can sort of pollute the beneficial effects of doing kindnesses for people. You can call somebody who you know is having a hard time. You could, when you're at the grocery store, you could take your cart back to the cart area and then go take a few more carts. Now, most grocery stores, they have somebody whose job that is, and I don't know if that's going to make a difference for their job, but for you, it's going to make you feel better to just go do that little extra thing for somebody. If you work with others and you are picking up something to eat when you go out, just see if somebody else would like a sandwich too and bring it to them. Pay for it for them. If you can't afford to give people sandwiches, you can give them a kind word. You can put a hand on their shoulder and just say, you're doing a great job. Or you can compliment them and say, the way that you just explained that to somebody was so clear. And be genuine, don't make stuff up. But pay attention to what other people have done that is deserving of a compliment, and just give that to them. And when you do that, you kind of become an agent of good. So the best thing for other people is that they begin to realize that they're capable and good and they can do more of it. And when we can carry that message to them, we become the agent of good. And that's where we like to be, is useful and doing good for other people. So those are my tips for turning your day around and having a great day no matter what's going on. And I've done them under some truly terrible circumstances. So they're meant to work no matter what's going on, even really serious stuff. Enjoy.